free. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, I mean, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person, you don't understand how all this works, so let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off, and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up, that really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you.
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, Like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this
You
at
didn't
all.
set me up right.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do they do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings,
Yeah.
shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel. Gross. Nothing. Yeah. No ghosts.
everybody. Welcome to Street Fight Radio. Hope your Wednesday night is all right. But now it's time for a street fight. We are streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can follow along as we talk shit to each other. You can jump in the chat with everybody else. We are thankful for all of y'all that show up to do this thing, and get happy that we get to keep doing it. It's getting bigger and better, and we're accomplishing more things and getting back on track. Small Business Tyrants 2, the newest zine from Street Fight Radio, is going to be arriving on your Patreon in the next couple days. It'll hit your mailbox in the next few weeks. But we're back on track with all that. If you want more Street Fight Radio, more than just the podcast in the basement and the call-in show, we have bonus content available at patreon.com/streetfightradio. And even if you don't want the content, you just want to support the show, you can sign up for a donation, monthly donation, so we can keep this mess spreading across the U.S. Not sure we're going to be performing anytime soon, so it looks like it's just going to be streaming. And we are getting used to this new landscape, digital landscape. I know we were doing board games and stuff early on. I'd like to get some of that back together. But we are working on a television show. Next week, Nick from Means TV is going to be coming down to Ohio to help us put our studio together. So that is happening. We've got writers, Drew Spears and Simone Norman are helping us with the writing task. Street Fight TV is well on the way. And even before Street Fight TV happens, the Hellfire Tour documentary from last year is going to be hitting Means TV very soon. So check that out. I hate making it past the song, but there's so much to say. If you want to get involved with Street Fight, submit for the zine. We're looking for writers, artists, comic creators, whatever you may be, to submit stuff for the zine. Head to streetfightradio.com/zine-submission. It's just available at streetfightradio.com. You'll see it right there at the top. We need content right now for metal, parenting, war, activism, staying indoors, alcohol, renting, and religion. Those are some of the topics we're working for. So if you're creative and you want to help us spread this mess, this is the way to get blessed. That was a lot to say, Brian. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm feeling like really good. It's been quite a week.
Has it been quite a week?
Yeah, not a big time week, but you know, I've had a few weird days, and I'm doing good though. I'm doing good. I need to walk back a little of what I said on Sunday.
Okay.
I was talking at the beginning of the show about how, I think I might have gotten through to the old in-laws.
Sure.
You know, you start to feel like it sometimes. Sometimes they'll trick your ass, you know?
Yeah, they'll just feel that they're in the mood to tell you what you want to hear.
They'll trick you. You know why they trick you, though? You know why they trick you? Because they just want you to come around.
Yeah.
That's it. They just...
It's a little bit... They're like, well, we can't be mean to him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
we want to be mean to him all the time.
Well, I think also emotions are so high. So I'll tell this real quick. My wife had been saying, you know, I think I'm going to go see my parents for Father's Day, and you and Gwen, y'all go early in the morning. You guys just stay home. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate to make you go by yourself. And I have been getting up around 10:30 and stuff.
Early.
Yeah. I got up at 9:30 today.
Wow.
So I've been getting up at 10:30, and I was like, I'll go with you. And I found out that the reason she didn't want us to go is because if her dad said something, she was going to unleash, because she just wasn't in the mood.
Oh, she was primed?
She was, primed.
Primed.
And I went and ruined it. Like,
no, you defused the bomb.
I ran interference before she went off. Because me and her were having this conversation last night about, like, racist relatives and stuff like that. And about, like, letting it slide. And then being like, so if we all let it slide, then how is anything going to happen?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've been having those thoughts a lot lately about just letting it slide. I don't really have anybody that's overtly like nasty racist, but like I do let things slide at times in my life. And you know, I gotta stop doing that.
Well, yeah, I
Gotta
would
stop.
I have let things slide before, but the problem is not the issue is that they're constantly being offensive. They're just like trying to say stuff to make you mad, so you're constantly having to bring it up. Usually, what they do is just back off. I find that they just avoid the topics after a certain point.
Yeah,
That's where a lot of my family has been for the last couple years.
Yeah.
We're not we never talk about football protests. We never talk about any of that shit whenever I'm around. They just are like, we save that for times when Brett isn't going to be here, you know?
right. That's a weird thing too, because I think about that with even my closest friends, which I know all have like good politics. And you know, a lot of them listen to this show, or one of them listens to this show, and you know, I think about like, do people feel uncomfortable saying, I've been having this big thing about, I've been dealing with some stuff in my brain, but do people feel uncomfortable saying lib stuff around me that they might believe just because around me and you? Are people fully able to be who they are around me and you? I don't know.
I doubt it.
I truly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an asshole, and I don't think...
And I don't let things slide when it comes to that stuff either. It's just like, well, you know, the last time we got into the conversation, I mean, we weren't mean. I'm going to fucking stick up for myself here. We did have a conversation once in like 2017, 2018, where it seemed like me and Brett were ganging up on somebody, but it was really that we both had the same opinion, and 90% of what we did was like, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it was somebody trying to throw out conventional wisdom stuff. And if you don't agree with the conventional wisdom, you just say, I don't agree with that, and move on. It wasn't like a crazy argument or anything like that. And I always think that libs have their hearts in the right... Brett's giving me a look, and like I'm agreeing with him like halfway through this sentence. Like he like libs always have their heart in the right, and then he did a thing with his face, and I was like, he's got a fucking point with that face.
They do want to. They want to appear like they have their heart in the right places.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it's a weird thing because you can't really tell, because I think there are hardcore libs, right? And I think that they do think that they're socialists.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I also think that they would be very quick to call the police on a homeless person, if that makes sense. You know, where it's like I get told by a lot of like libs that I'm, you know, on Twitter when people yell at you a lot of times, which doesn't happen to me as much anymore. But back in the day when we would argue with the progs, the pragmatic progressives, they would always say, I'm as left as anybody you'll ever meet. I am so far to the left, I fall off the map.
Right.
But none of this stuff is practical, and I really don't believe in it.
We have to keep things the same way.
Yeah. I've been having like a real battle with myself about like people being able to be who they are around me, you know? And this has been going on for like 6 months or so, where it's like, you know, I want people to like feel like they gotta like walk on eggshells around me. I want people to feel like they can be themselves when I'm also in the room.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's important.
But yeah, I think the father-in-law was sort of paying me lip service, and kind of I was nicer this time, and I didn't like go in as hard. I did. I said everything that I would say on this show, but I said it in a much nicer way. But that's the fucking thing with this dude. And I assume that's the thing with like your parents too, is that like do you go in yelling?
No.
Like, so, like, the times that you fought with your parents, right, about political stuff, did you immediately start yelling at them?
No, just telling them I don't see it their way makes them yell like crazy.
Fucking exactly right. Like, none of it would ever get out of hand if they didn't fucking they're the ones, and it's funny because, like, their brains tell them that we are governed by emotion.
Yep.
And they are governed by logic, right? And it's like, you're the ones that get all emotional all the time. I mean, I admit that I'm governed by emotion. I 100% admit that a lot of my politics are based on touchy-feely emotional shit. Because, like, I care about people and I want people to be fully realized versions of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So they're not wrong about that, but they're just as emotional as I am.
Yeah, that's not going to sink in for them. That's just something we can't ever prove to them. They feel so righteously angry. The same way we feel righteously angry.
I know, but we don't. It takes. You know how many? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. It takes four volleys for me before I'm yelling. Four. I will be like this. First volley, I'll just say, "Oh nah, that's not how I feel."
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Second one. Well, okay, I'm not gonna agree with that, and then explain myself. Third, explain myself another time in a different way. And then 4, it's time to yell. If they're yelling at me, I will be normal for 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, after they start yelling. And then I can't help it, I start yelling.
Agreed.
But, like, it's like watching their blood pressure go up is disconcerting. And if I wasn't, like, a 200-pound fucking dude, I wouldn't want to fight. And that's another thing I'm thinking about a lot.
I don't know. I just like picking on and trolling people. I remember just people being like, yeah, you know what Barack Obama's doing? He's going to create this healthcare law so that, you know, it all fails and then the government has to swoop in and set up their own healthcare. And I was like, oh, that would be a brilliant move to get us all healthcare. And they're like, what?
No.
I did that one a couple times.
That is fucking wise, though. That was what Republicans. I don't remember. Yeah,
they were saying when he was starting to set stuff up, they were saying that like he's making it private, but it's all secret communist shit. He's gonna make it so that they eventually have to do it. So they eventually have to do a government plan. It'll be single payer. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't even know that. I just thought it was going to be this shitty government healthcare. I thought it was going to be like shit. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be this shitty private healthcare forever. That sounds like a cool idea.
If we get there and when we get to universal healthcare, he's going to take credit for it. Though,
oh, yeah.
In that
yes.
way.
Oh, yes.
You know,
everybody.
Like, I started all that shit.
I got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Got the ball rolling.
Let me try. Folks, I got the ball rolling.
Yep.
Not bad. That's not bad for Brian.
Great.
You're grading on a scale with me.
It didn't sound like the East Coast, so
yeah,
that's accounts.
That's
accounts.
The like chess, the 27th dimensional chess stuff that they talk about is just because now you're looking at a guy like Joe Biden, right? And it's like I think that it's like a hamster on a wheel in his head, but that's like the hack thing. I'm trying to think, like maybe I don't know what's going on in his head. You know,
you sent me that clip today, which was what?
I don't know. It just got posted.
It was so low energy, dog.
It was extremely we're fucked energy. I guess. Let me get it for you.
So defeatist.
Yeah, just vamp for me for a second. But when you hear it, you feel like I think it's probably
Scrub League.
Scrub League.
Love Scrub League. Shows up in another 1312. FTP forever. Fuck 12.
I mean, he's such a weird dude. Anyway, he's standing in front of an American flag. And I remember who posted it now.
Well, you know what's hilarious is that on the podium, it says, ready to open the right way. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That's extremely Democrat horseshit.
Ready to open the right way is you don't open.
Yeah, that would be the right thing to do is not open. The right thing to do would be ready to stay closed and hand out big fat checks. That would be... That's where I'm at. I ain't even got my big fat check, man.
You haven't gotten yours yet?
I'm never going to get that big fat check, man.
I mean, I got mine. All right. So, Yeah, it says text United to 30330. Reopen right, safer and stronger. So this is what this is our team, right?
Yeah, this is for us. This is what's the most important thing to do is to vote for this guy.
I'll play the audio here. You can put your headphones in, Brett. I think the listeners should be able to hear this. You're not gonna.
Oh, I guess I.
Are you
can't.
plugged in the
I'm
right
plugged
way?
into the right one.
Yeah, you gotta hear it, man. You gotta
Go.
join me.
I love it.
In hearing this. I gotta pause it. I gotta start it back. All right, here we go. Here we go now. So he's standing in front of an American flag, by the way. I don't know where he's at. And jarring to talk to no audience. I am
We've tried.
fully admitting this.
We've done it. We've did some test reels for the TV show, and it is really hard to say a joke like that I think is funny, and like usually if we think it's funny, the audience will usually respond. You know, we have a good barometer. But when you're just telling jokes in front of you, that shit is embarrassing. It's like I think pretty highly of myself.
Right. If me, you, Drew, and Simone all think the jokes are good, I think they're good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
But when you tell it and there's nothing comes back, you're like, no, that's where something comes back.
Yeah, that's the part where people are going to be falling out of their chairs.
All right.
All right.
So we're being fair to Joe.
Reopen right.
Yeah.
Let's reopen right. Like the right said. Let's do what the right said and reopen.
Well, you know what's funny about the Democrats is how they accept defeat.
Oh, they're so bad.
There's nobody better at accepting defeat than the Democrats.
Uninspiring.
They fucking accept it before they've even lost.
Like, no, we're going to open businesses harder than the Republicans would. We're going to have cleaning teams cleaning out all your favorite major league ballparks and concert centers.
Oh, my God. Yeah, here's Joe.
Can't wait. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Not working.
Check the chat.
Oh, I hear it.
Oh, it's a lag. Yeah, well, you know.
Oh, man, I can't hear it. Play one more time.
Let's start it one more time. So he just leaves?
They can't hear it.
They can't hear it?
No.
Oh,
fuck.
Damn, we're not going to be able to play McDonald's cop either at this point.
What did he say?
He said, Mr. President.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
What do you need to get to work? Do what needs to be done.
That's exactly how he said it. Mr. President. We need to get to work. Do what needs to be done.
He is so out of it. I guess like somebody was saying, I mean, my father-in-law thinks he's not going to make it to the election. And so many other people think he's not going to make it to the election. But then what happens, really?
If he does.
If he does not.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, if you even game it out, if he doesn't, who else is there, really? That they're gonna let... No, well, they're not...
Hillary!
No, Michelle.
Michelle
maybe?
Obama?
Yeah. Maybe?
I mean, we would win on that
She would
one.
win.
Yeah, she could win
like
a fucking
motherfucker.
presidency.
Yeah.
For sure.
My God. She would win, yeah. I'm trying to think of who else could possibly be.
I don't know how that works. I mean, does he have to pick a VP? Does that person take over? Is it Jill Biden?
Jill Biden? I don't think your wife just gets to be the president.
I know.
I mean, it would be cool. That people would vote for me then, you know.
Because Katie would be president?
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna die. Yeah, he's Sleepy Joe though. He's gonna be he really seems like he's dying, I guess is my point.
Yeah, everybody sees it, but I don't know who is I don't have a workplace to go to hear anybody like. There's a Biden sign around the corner. A Biden sign went up.
Do you ever want to knock on their door
I do.
and ask them like, "Can we have a conversation?" You
Can you tell me what's going on?
You put this sign in your front yard. I feel like this is inviting a political conversation, and I would like to take you up on that invitation.
Yeah.
And then sit down on their porch with them and just get in there, man. Really, really get in there. You know? I don't think I think what happened, we're still at the phase, though, where nobody's excited about Biden.
You're right.
But there will be in September or October. See, I've seen enough elections happen where, like, yes, in June, maybe even in July, before the conventions and stuff, everybody's kind of like, well, you know, you got to vote for him because he's
Right.
not the other guy. You know, that's like the whole thing. That's like the whole conversation. And for me, like, right around September, October, they start doing the hard sell.
Yeah.
Where then they have to tell you that he's actually good. And that's what I'm waiting for, because I don't really know what you say at that point. How do we convince them? How do they convince us that he's good? Like, what is there? It seems like it seems like just like reopen, right? It seems like they've conceded the election and they think that Trump is just going to win no matter what. Do you remember when Obama was up for re-election and the Republicans put up Mitt Romney and the like conventional wisdom was like, yeah, we'll let Mitt Romney run because he'll never win anyway.
Sure.
You know? I wonder if that's what, you know, the Joe Biden thing is. It's like, we'll let Joe Biden run, you know. We'll let Joe Biden run. Who
I mean, they did their voting thing. They did their primary to get him.
Not all of it, though.
Right. Enough
They
of it.
cut it off in the end. They didn't do enough, I don't think. But, I mean, hey, you know, he was going to be, even if Bernie Sanders, like, had won the thing, he was going to be in second place. So he did win, you know. Like, there was, the momentum the Joe-mentum was going his way. So,
Yes.
you know, it was all okay. I guess we stay here. I can talk about Mike Pence telling governors to repeat misleading claims on outbreaks.
What?
This is from the new... Oh, they, like, turned it off. Okay, so, why? Okay, Vice President Mike Pence encouraged governors on Monday to adopt the administration's claim that increased testing helps account for the new coronavirus outbreak reports, even though evidence has shown that explanation is misleading. It is not even misleading in a way. It does. It still means that there are more cases, I guess. I don't know who. Of course, we're testing more. Yeah, and we're finding out more people have it. That's like I don't know where you get comfort in that.
Yeah, I feel like that's just how you have to, that's how the science works, really? The tests give you the confirmed answer, right?
On a call with the governors, audio of which was obtained by the New York Times, Mr. Pence urged them to continue to explain to your citizens the magnitude of the increase in testing in addressing the new outbreaks. And he asked them to encourage people with the news that we're safely reopening the country. In fact, 7-day averages in several states with outbreaks have increased since May 31st, and at least 14 states, the positive case rate is increasing faster than the increase in the average number of tests, according to an analysis of data collected by the New York Times. So, we are basically fucked. They're not giving us anything, and they're also not closing anything.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's coming down.
I do think the whole thing's coming down.
We have a couple months to go. I know we have that caller that calls in and talks about, you know, the first of every single month is a general strike. But I've been paying attention to some of the articles that are talking about the Omni crisis that's on the way. But also was listening to District Sentinel Radio. I was listening to Sam and Sam talk about it, and they laid it out. The eviction courts in Columbus have already started up again, and there's about to be an end on the moratorium for student loan payments, and people's mortgages are going to be due again, and there's a lot of shit coming and not enough money to cover it. The stimulus that the government did was the highest increase in monthly wages for workers and ever. It's really, yeah, it was like a 10% increase of everybody's monthly take home pay from those stimulus and everything. It was a huge.
They're driving us off a cliff.
Yeah.
Is that? Are we on a fiscal cliff?
But no, it's just but now we're going to dry out. We're about to get dried out. And
yeah, they're going to take everything away from us.
Yeah, now they're gonna say, well, we're reopened, find a job, it's time to pay rent again.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to. Now is the next phase of this coming in July. We're gonna have to start surrounding people's houses and preventing the sheriff from foreclosing on their houses and taking away their rental properties. We're gonna have whole buildings. We're gonna have to have a bunch of people show up at a building and take it away from the developers or whoever owns it. Yeah. That's what's coming next.
Yeah.
That's where the fight is at. People are going to be homeless by the end of the summer. A lot more than we've ever seen.
I agree with that. Also, I think that if the thing about this argument that makes me crazy is they're still not testing everybody, or even. They basically tell us only get a test if you really, really, come on, buddy. If you really feel like it, then I guess get a test. But I'd rather you not.
I got notified that CVS was doing tests, and then you had to go fill out this form, and they were just like, yeah, you don't really sound like you have COVID, so you don't need to get tested. And
everybody fucking has. I've heard that a million times. It's like if they were testing everybody, the fucking move, man. From the beginning has been to just test everybody and separate us.
Yeah, get rid of it and let it die out with them.
Yeah.
Find everybody that has it and let them and isolate them until it dies out with them. Keep them away from everybody else.
Why does that seem impossible?
My sister is a nurse in Arizona, and the stuff that she's been saying is really scary shit, man. There's a lot. They're overwhelmed and very nervous about their health and well-being and exposure to it and everything.
Yeah, I would
hundreds
imagine
of patients
that.
Overnight and shit.
Yeah, I believe hundreds of patients overnight.
Yeah,
I drive by. You know what's crazy about that is I drive by the hospital every time I leave here, and the thing there's no cars there.
Where?
The hospital. Right, I drive by Riverside Hospital when I leave Brett's house to go to my house. It's one of the biggest hospitals in the city, Riverside Methodist Hospital, and there's no cars in the parking lot. And you can drive by a hospital and see no cars in the parking lot and sort of get a feeling of everything's okay, I guess, in a way. Maybe I'm wrong about this. But it's because people can't get visitors. They have
to FaceTime their dying family members and shit.
And there's just the curve was always about making sure that we had the beds and the resources to make things happen. But I don't know how Columbus is faring. I don't know how Ohio is faring at this point. I know that we're pretty much fully open right now. I can't think of anything we can't do except for concerts.
Yeah, none of the big events are together. The restaurants, I did see, there are people on the patios, there are people eating, but I don't know. It doesn't feel fully open in that way.
But it is. I guess the thing.
I don't think people are doing it.
That's the key is we have to now just do this rugged individualist version of fighting a pandemic because the government isn't going to fucking do anything about it. And we have to just be boy, I would really like to go eat ribs at fucking Chili's, but I can't. I shouldn't do that. But then we all know that there's a fucking full Chili's
Yes, ready to serve you.
'Cause
Ready to do a three-tier meal deal for $17.99.
Because I was in, that's the thing is I was in the suburbs for a funeral on Monday. I had to go to this funeral, which, by the way, I just want to say, Gary, Carter was a great man who took in a lot of bad kids, and he would bust our balls and stuff like that, but he was fucking wonderful, and everybody that he took in ended up doing very well for themselves, and I just tribute. Rest in peace, Gary. Rest in peace, my man.
R.I.P. Gary.
Yeah. So I went to his funeral in Grove City, which is the suburbs.
Yeah.
And
they have all the strip mall stuff you could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
And
big box stores.
Yeah, all the big box stores.
All the everything.
And a full lots of vinyl siding houses for you.
Yes. So I was out there, and I humiliatingly showed up to the funeral a half hour early. The showing a half hour early. I thought it was supposed to be at 5, but it was supposed to be at 6. And I just was like, I got to get out of here. I was like humiliated. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want everybody to fucking pull up and I'm sitting and like waiting for the funeral to happen. Okay. You know? Like I felt like that would be socially weird because it's a guy I haven't talked to in 20 years. He was just a guy that was very important in my life, you know?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I needed the power supply for my PlayStation 2 or 4. PlayStation 4. So I could play The Last of Us 2, which I'm picking up on Friday, and it won't make me sad at all because they're all video game people, and I don't have feelings. But anyway, I'm setting all my stuff up, and I had lost the power cord, so I was like, I'm gonna go get another one. And Best Buy said they had 2 in stock. I masked up. I went to Best Buy, and I was the only motherfucker in there wearing a mask.
Really?
I was just like the only guy in there wearing a mask.
What about the employees?
Some of the employees had them on, but their nose.
Yeah.
Out. They
were just gonna huff the virus, not suck it.
Yeah. And
how many people were in there?
Probably, it was not like packed like a Saturday, but it was because it was a Monday afternoon.
How many?
5:30. I would say 15.
Imagine sucking on 15 strangers' breath right now. God damn it, people.
It seems like a risk to me.
Yeah,
At the very least, it seems like a risk.
I don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, yeah. So
keep your breath to yourself.
As I'm leaving the store, which, by the way, they fucked me over, too. They said they didn't have it, even though they did. Well, they definitely had it, but the guy was like, it's not going to work. Okay. And then I left and found out that it was the right thing. That he was probably just didn't want to go back and get it for me. And
so he said, we have it, but it's not going to work.
Yes. He said, well, we have this cord, but this cord's not going to work because it needs a box on it or some shit. A transformer?
Yes.
But the PS4 doesn't have one of those if you have the big version of it.
Okay.
So he could have
had no idea what he was talking about.
And let me do, yeah. Well, and I mean, that's big box store life. If Jerry's electronics store was still the norm, then Jerry would probably know everything about all the electronics in there.
That's true. Instead of having one arrogant teenager at a Best Buy.
Yeah, just some teenager was like, what are you, fucking stupid? This is not going to work. So anyway, I leave, and I'm like looking. I decided to like look around because like this is the second time I've been to the suburbs, and like nobody's wearing a mask.
It's crazy.
And nobody is like at the restaurants. They're up moving around without masks on. And the fucking worst part about it is they make you feel like a fucking dumbass for wearing a mask. Oh. They're fucking gruff to you.
Oh, yeah.
About the mask.
They're annoyed.
You know?
They want to give you a piece of their mind when they see it.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm sitting there looking at charts and people are like, we actually never flattened the curve. And we're not going to get a second wave. It's just going to be worse from here. I'm reading all of these things. I'm getting texts from my sister. And then I put my mask on and I go to the store and people look at me like I'm a fucking crazy person.
Like a coward?
Yeah.
Almost? Like a draft dodger.
I'm a sheeple.
a
draft dodger.
Like they would have looked at you like a draft dodger in World War II. What's this fucking guy? You know? It's weird. It's such a weird... and it's because they're getting bad information, though, too. I mean, is the news covering coronavirus?
I mean,
I don't watch it. But I feel like I don't see it as much as I did before the uprising.
my Weather Channel app at one point added a coronavirus tracker on it so that you could go check the weather, and then you could click on the little corona icon, and it would show you what
Check
was
some
going
corona
on.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone now.
Yeah.
It's like they're not reporting on that news anymore.
Yeah, the corona news. I mean, the coronavirus outbreak section of the New York Times is still there. I will see that.
I've seen plenty of articles, but it's all from the same. It's like from our people. It's from just people that pay attention to the news if it's not in front of their faces. But I think that for most people, it's kind of over with.
Yeah.
People kind of believe like the sun kills it or something.
No, I don't think that. I mean, I guess my feeling is that people think it's safe because they don't read the New York Times, and they're mostly focused on the uprisings on either side of them.
Yeah.
So the conservatives are freaking out about the Chaz, or I think
Yeah.
it's called something else now. But
Chop.
The conservatives are freaking out about the chop, and liberals are doing whatever they do, and you can never tell what they're doing. But they're not talking about coronavirus, and it does feel like the world's back to normal to me. And when I'm out walking around town, get my 50,000 steps a day in, it looks open. Now, during the week, it is a little bit more like empty downtown, but on the weekends, it's back. It is back. Did you see that picture of Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Bar and Grill?
I did.
That, to me, was disturbing. That was one of those things where I looked at that and I said, these fucking people are this is stupid, you know?
Yeah, people want to be free, man. They want to be free to get viruses.
Yeah, that was the craziest part of it.
They want their right to get COVID as well.
Yeah,
to make their own
man,
risk.
if you want to get COVID, do it.
Once again,
stay home.
Yeah, but there's an employee that's paid to go, like, and just pour shots in people's mouth, you know, that has to deal with all of their germs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know. It is really fucking hard for me to figure out, like, how to deal with these people because, like, there aren't I don't want to put people in jail, which also has horrible coronavirus outbreaks.
Right.
You know? I don't... So, like, when you tell people to stay home, but you keep the businesses running, to me it seems like it's not gonna fix itself ever, I guess. Like, we just... During that first month and a half of lockdown, we had made peace with the fact that we couldn't go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah.
And we just had to figure out new ways to entertain ourselves. And we started going outside, started jogging, working out, going into the woods and checking out what's in the woods. Just things like that, playing pickleball or whatever, you know, with your best friends.
Sure.
And once they opened everything back up, it seems like there was like a segment of the country that flipped right back into like, fuck the woods, man. I can go to Standard Hall. I can go to Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Bar and Grill, you know? And I don't want to go at all to any of these places. I
have a lot of people that are like, you know, saying it's fake. They think it's been proven now that it was never a danger.
Because they think it's proven because they haven't looked at the charts.
Sure.
If that makes sense. But there are people who say that, like, I think the argument now is that it's a flu that 99% of people survive.
I have heard that, yeah.
Yeah, that's their big thing. But it's like, well, okay. Those 1% of people are still people, though.
Yeah.
That's the wrong 1% to want to die.
And
there is a 1% that I want all to die.
Yeah.
But it's not that 1%.
Yeah, the lasting damage that it does to your body, I think, is also something to worry about. The death is not the worst part, really.
Yeah. So let's talk about this Trader Joe. Well, before I go into this Trader Joe, I don't have proof of this. This is an anecdotal story that I got from a person secretly. I'm trying to keep it as anonymous as possible.
Okay.
But our power company fired a few people for posting about being at the protests, apparently. It broke their social media code of conduct, in which...
Trader Joe's people.
Not Trader Joe's, the electric company.
The electric company, okay.
AEP, American Electric Power, in Columbus, Ohio. I heard a rumor that they fired 3 people for going to the protests, and then what they did was they let everybody know that they fired 3 people who went to the protest, and they put it on like some internal email, some kind of a site, and it broke their social media code of conduct because they're not supposed to talk about these sorts of things. Like, so if they basically what the argument is that you represent the company at all times when you're like not at work and when you're on the internet. And if somebody, which by the way, I used to think our listeners were all crazy for using fake names and stuff on Facebook, and like, oh, who cares? But apparently if you put don't list your employer on there, first of all. But if you list your employer and then somebody complains to the company, if you list your employer, that means that you're subject to the same rules you are when you're at work. And at that point, they can fire you for misbehaving on Facebook or Twitter or something like that because you offended a customer, I guess. And it's very weird because like I'm not a Facebook guy anymore. I'm not on there much, but I'm also not like a guy with a real job. So it's very hard for me to understand, and I never put my real job on the Facebook. But yeah, it looks like in the chat people are saying they've never listed their current employers, which is smart because I guess people could go explain, and people are always trying to get people fired. You know, like it's good practice not to post your employer on Facebook. So that was a rumor that I have been told in confidence, and I can give you. I'm going to try to get some proof of this. I'm going to try to get the internal email and keep you all posted on this. Maybe next Wednesday I'll have some information, but yeah, it's really interesting to me. So I got this Trader Joe's story that came up earlier in the week, and I'm just going to read what the Trader Joe's store 130, it is their, I believe this is an attempt to unionize this Trader Joe's, I don't think Trader Joe's is a union, but this is somebody from the Capitol Hill Trader Joe's store in, I guess that's Seattle. Yeah, it's Seattle, Capitol Hill. On June 11th, dozens of Trader Joe's Capitol Hill workers informed store management that they would be participating in the June 12th protest organized by the local chapter of Black Lives Matter. Store managers determined that broad participation in the protest would lead to staffing issues and decided to close the store early on June 12th. Which is fucking fine because of COVID. Everything closes early anyway. Nobody would expect it to be open. You know, I don't expect anything to be open after 7 o'clock at this point, except for bars and restaurants.
Right.
You know, store management assured workers participating in the protest that this would be considered an excused absence and would not result in any disciplinary measures. But on the morning of June 12th, a representative from TJ's corporate called the store to ask about the early closure. Unsatisfied with the rationale for the early closure, corporate informed store management that the store would close indefinitely, effective immediately.
Whoa.
We are a group of workers who wish to remain anonymous. Believe it's no coincidence that the store was abruptly closed on the day that dozens of us took action in support of the movement for Black Lives. We know that the company will try to avoid the appearance of being antagonistic to the movement. They will likely cite personnel issues, safety concerns, or operating costs as rationale for the store closure. What they really mean when they cite personnel issues is that they saw our store as a hotspot for worker organizing. TJ's corporate has aggressively squashed worker organizing for years and has a long record of retaliation. This is the most dramatic retaliation any TJ store has seen to date, but it's not an isolated incident. Prior to the abrupt store closure, we had been organizing to secure a living wage, health insurance for all workers, and basic protections against COVID-19. The large majority of us were already living paycheck to paycheck, and many of us were working without health insurance while risking steady exposure to the public in the midst of a pandemic. Which is, you know.
Yeah.
Damn. You know, this is the first time I'm really thinking about how, like, people are really the people that are risking their lives most. I mean, you know, nurses and doctors, obviously, but, you know, people that work at fast food restaurants and grocery stores and places like that that don't have health insurance is,
yeah, that's
unconscionable.
It is. It sounds like some sort of what if scenario.
Yeah.
Like, would you risk your life to make $1 million? You know, like,
but
like, you're making $9 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Trader Joe's,
but you have to work. I mean, otherwise you don't have anywhere to live.
That's
or
true.
No food.
Yeah. While Trader Joe's has publicly voiced support for black crew members and customers, the company has done nothing to tangibly support the movement for Black Lives, and they have penalized employees for supporting the movement. While the company insists that they value crew member feedback and support crew-led solutions, they have consistently disregarded our insights and requests. We know what it would take for the store to run smoothly, and we want to be in a conversation with store management about solutions. That's the fucking dream, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like that, I've always been it. I think that, like, that's something that when somebody tells me, when somebody tells me that like this place would run better without, like, co-op stuff. When people explain co-op stuff to me, that has always made the most sense to me.
Yeah.
When it gets explained to me, you know? Because if anybody knows how to run a business, if anybody does know how to run the company, it's the fucking workers in the place. Some fucking dipshit. So they decided at this Trader Joe's, hey, we're going to fucking take the day off and we're going to do a Black Lives Matter protest. And I don't think anybody's going to be mad about it.
Yeah.
The employees all want to do it. Let's close the fucking store. You know, management even says.
Right.
Like, let's just fuck it. Let's close early. You know? And then some corporate shithead from somewhere else, who fucking knows where this motherfucker is from, calls to check on the hours. Which, by the way, what are they doing? Are they like Googling the hours of Trader Joe's?
Probably the worked hours.
Yeah. Yes. No. Because they hadn't done it yet, right? Or maybe
I didn't hear it. I don't know. I don't know if it's how important that is.
All right. Well, yeah. So, you know, this is the union, and
it's not a union.
It's not a union. It's people working towards organizing in order to get Trader Joe's store 103 running. So anyway, we are saddened by the store closure. For each of us, it means both a loss of community and a loss of financial security in the midst of an economic downturn. We recognize it's a loss for our neighborhood as well, and we hope you will join us in demanding that Trader Joe's reopen store 130 and restore our jobs immediately. We've heard that TJ's Corporate will make a final decision about the closure this coming Monday. We will be prepared with a response regardless of the decision. So I have their decision because this happened Sunday night while we were doing the show. And it sounds like, to me, I'll read it. Trader Joe's Capitol Hill crew members received a message on Monday stating that the company plans to reopen our store.
Okay.
So this worked. Organizing gets the goods, baby.
It did.
We know that this would not have happened without the incredible outpouring of community support we received over the last 24 hours. Over 22,000 of you have signed our petition. The announcement that the store will reopen is a big win, and it's very clear to us that the fight isn't over. None of us have received a guarantee that our jobs are protected, and Trader Joe's has yet to take tangible action in support of the movement for Black Lives. The message we received via our scheduling app claimed that the temporary closure is to execute a remodel plan to address safety and security concerns that have developed over the last year.
Okay.
I mean, that they didn't let anybody in the whole store know about until they all went to a protest march.
Yeah.
They didn't tell anybody else. And, like, safety concerns as in, like, health insurance. Like, these Trader Joe's is evil, dude. I had to say.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I don't think there's a Trader Joe's Facebook groups, and there's always talks of unions and people getting shut down and saying it's not going to happen. And, yeah, this is happening a lot at Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
and it's one of those places where people are convinced that like everybody that works there is happy. You know?
Everybody it's like Whole Foods.
Whole Foods was like that. I don't think anymore. I think everybody knows it's a shit job now.
Do you think the people that like do all their grocery shopping there for ethical reasons?
There are some people that I'm sure they haven't been reading. If you haven't read an article in the last 5 years, you might think Whole Foods is still a good job, but
yeah, you might be right. I mean, yeah, people used to think that I used to think that people that worked at Whole Foods had health insurance and were making more than the minimum wage.
I believe
like
they
$15 an hour or something, like the good wage.
Yeah,
you know, and they were all happy. But yeah, Amazon took it over, and I mean, Amazon can't afford to pay them people a living wage and give them health insurance. It would fucking destroy Amazon. You know?
Yeah.
Kidding. The crew had not been informed of any remodel plans until today and had not been informed of an extended closure until this past Friday. We know that the store management was also surprised by the abrupt closure. Trader Joe's Corporate is feeling the public pressure and is scrambling to regain control of the narrative. They're backpedaling and trying to defend an indefensible decision they made on Friday. We intend to be in conversation as a collective with store management and TJ's Corporate. We're not going to overlook the major breach of trust from this past Friday. We want to keep our jobs, but we don't feel like we can go back to the store without addressing long-standing issues. We hope we can count on you both to support our demands moving forward and to support the movement for Black Lives. So that is that's pretty cool. They're trying, you know.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna go for something. It's better to not have contracts and shit that you're bound to. It's better to just say, hey, everybody that works at this place feels this way. You know?
I like this method, too. I do. I mean, I know one big union is like the move. Obviously, we want that in this world. We want one big union. But, like, this flexibility that you can get from organizing just within the place, I mean, it's risky.
Yeah.
Because they can...
But I think also now it's like maybe that was the time when you could come form with a bargaining contract because you have the solidarity that's necessary, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to... You have proof of concept already at this point.
Yeah, and I also think that you can't get away with some of the same shit. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like now. It's like you were saying about like stopping evictions and stuff like that. Like I feel like that's a totally possible thing to do now.
Yeah.
I feel like we've cracked open a new sort of direct action vein, And like, since everything's crumbling and falling apart with the coronavirus and all that shit, it's like they fucking could have kept us docile if they had just given us money
Yeah.
and locked it down.
Yeah.
You
They
know
should
what I
gave us
mean?
money and said tip extra hard to essential workers.
Yep.
Get your groceries delivered and give them a 20 spot.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been no skin off their ass to do it at all.
No,
They could have kept us happy.
they risked everything.
But now we're going to, in my mind, we're going to watch it crumble. And that to me is like, I figured it was going to happen at some point, not in my lifetime, but I knew that it was coming,
Yeah,
But I knew it was on its way.
we were due.
Yeah. I just
We
didn't
were
know
due
when.
for a hit.
I didn't know I was going to not be in my prime. You wish you were in your prime.
Yeah, sure.
I wish you were 25 right now. Just going fucking nuts, man. I would be going crazy if I was 25.
True. It is hard to take care of a 7-year-old and also try to be involved with a lot of this stuff.
With the revolution.
Yeah.
To be involved with the revolution. So it's, I think shit's happening. They're scared, which is nice. I'll do one more and get out of here. We are taking the call-in show off this week. We are dads. And
Father's Day off.
We want to spend time with our families on Father's Day, and we want them to treat us better than they do on any other day of the year, which is really the point of Father's Day.
I'm going to make them watch this 3-hour movie from 1966 called Grand Prix. It has like Walter Matthau in it or something as like some race car driver.
You're going to make your daughter watch it?
Yeah, I'm going to tie her down into a
You're going
chair.
to fucking sit her down.
I'm going to say, no miraculous, not today.
We're about to watch this 3-hour movie. I don't know what I'm going to do
It's
yet.
2 DVDs.
I've said this before about my I said this earlier online.
James Garner, not Walter Matthau. Same guy.
My family always is like, we want to take a walk with you.
Yeah.
But then they're like, you walk too much. This is too far.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not a
It's
fair
too
thing
long.
to say.
And then also, it's like, the other side of that is that, like, they could be like, don't take your walk today. And it's like, but it's Father's Day. And this is, like, what I like to do. So, but I think we'll probably figure something out to do together. And
You're going to...
I'd smoke some pork, maybe. I
Okay.
botched a brisket this week on my new smoker.
Really?
Yeah, it was just...
Take some practice.
I haven't grilled. I botched 2 grill jobs this week. 2 GJs.
Okay.
I had 2 GJs.
2
earlier
botched
this week.
GJs.
Yeah, 2 botched GJs. 2 botched grill jobs. I had a grill job on my new tiny grill that went very poorly. I had to put my pork chop in the oven and with the broiler to get it to temperature.
Wow.
Not used to it yet. I haven't cooked with fire in like years now. So I'm having trouble. And then this brisket was just mind-blowingly fucked. It took me all day and it was fucked, and it was a $30 brisket.
You couldn't
And
eat it?
No, it was gross, dude. It wasn't gross. Like, everything I did to it was good, but it was fucking tough. It was some tough shit.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what I would have done with it. It was so tough, dude. It was like, I went to cut it, and I like went to bite it, and it was just like dry, like stringy,
Yeah.
and tough. And I was like, I guess this one's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what it is. Ted Cruz this week, and maybe one of the most pathetic things I've seen in a while. This is pathetic, Brett.
Yes, it is.
Pathetic. This is a tweet. Ron Perlman. Let's start with how this is. The Ron Perlman was talking shit to some guy named Matt Gaetz, who is also a politician. Let's figure that out. He's Florida. Oh my God. So his thing says Florida man proudly serving in the 1st district in Congress. He's a machine, handsome, and going places, says Donald Trump.
Oh.
That's
There's a big support base.
so So he is, who knows where he's fucking running for. So anyway, Ron Perlman says, "You're lucky for this guy, Matt. If it weren't for him, you'd be the ugliest politician walking." And he puts a picture of Jim Jordan, who is an Ohio representative who, let's get this up here. He's a Republican, and he used to be a wrestling coach at Ohio State University.
Okay.
And there was 6 former. So here it is. So we'll start here. And this is March 6, 2020. 6 former wrestlers say Representative Jim Jordan knew about abusive OSU doctor. So Tito Vasquez says he still remembers a day 3 decades ago when, as a wrestler at the Ohio State University, the doctor he'd gone to see about a bloody nose insisted on examining his genitals.
Whoa.
He also recalls how one of his coaches dismissed the immediate complaint. I have nothing to do with this, Vasquez quoted the coach. Oh, God.
What?
Sorry, audio started playing in my ear. "I have nothing to do with this," Vasquez quoted the assistant coach, saying, as he effectively ended the conversation and went on with wrestling practice. That coach, Vasquez says, was Jim Jordan, now an Ohio congressman and an influential voice in Republican politics. So this wrestling coach went on to be a politician. And so Ron Perlman was calling a guy ugly.
Ron Perlman is Hellboy.
Fuck yeah, he is, dude.
Who else?
The good Hellboy, not the bad Hellboy. Or
There's no bad
never been a bad Hellboy. There's
the original Hellboy.
Well, the original we'll call him the original Hellboy. Okay, so Ted Cruz takes this and quote tweets the Ron Perlman tweet.
Right.
He's owning him. And he goes, "Listen, Hellboy, you talk good game when you've got Hollywood makeup and stuntmen." By the way, Ron Perlman's huge.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a huge dude that could, like, crush Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, a good two-handed shove would send him on his ass.
I know. I feel like Ron Perlman would whip my ass in, like, 3 minutes. You know what I mean? I think Ron Perlman could whip my ass.
Okay.
You know? So anyway, he goes, this is like a novel here. "Listen, Hellboy, you talk a good game when you've got Hollywood makeup and stuntmen, but I'll bet $10,000 to the non-political charity of your choice." It's like, why not just bet then?
Yeah.
You know? Why not just do the bet? And just
non-political charity, but what's the point of winning? Like, you want to win, you want to make him give it to Black Lives Matter, or like a trans rights or something.
Yeah,
right?
what
betting?
Charity?
You get to pick gun fuckers, or Daughter of the Confederacy, whatever you want it to go to. That's called betting.
Betting is right. Betting has like a negative outcome on the other end of it. Being like you can donate to a fucking church or some shit is like. What?
Ron Perlman was the Beast in the Beauty and the Beast show from way back when.
He was that too, yeah. He was Clay Morrow from Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, that too.
I mean, I know him as Clay Morrow.
Got it.
So anyway, he goes, "I'll bet $10,000 to the non-political charity of your choice that you couldn't last 5 minutes in the wrestling ring with Jim Jordan without getting pinned. You up for it, or does your publicist say too risky?"
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Why?
There's so much in that collection of words.
Yeah.
That like is embarrassing. Again, non-political charity. I don't even. I'm
like
trying to think of one.
Like a heart disease one, or like a prostate cancer one. Something like that.
That's true. I guess
some sort of walkathon.
Yeah. Ted Cruz doesn't want to be made to give to like Planned Parenthood.
Exactly.
Or some shit. You know?
Right.
A walkathon.
Yeah,
just sponsor
the
a
Great
walkathon.
Pumpkin Run.
Yeah.
Give $10,000 to the Great Pumpkin Run.
I think all charity is political because here's the thing, because the politicians use the charities for political purposes. A lot of charities are used for political purposes, I guess. So I would make the argument to Ted Cruz, all charity's political. I don't care.
Yeah.
Prostate cancer charity, I'm sure that's political. I can't think of why right now, but I'm sure somebody uses it to get something, and there we go.
Now, and who does Ted Cruz want him to wrestle?
He wants him to wrestle Jim Jordan.
He wants to wrestle the original guy. Okay.
Yeah, the Jim Jordan, the guy that I read the piece about before. He wants him to wrestle him.
He's stepped in to get this match together.
Right. Ted Cruz isn't going to wrestle. I wonder. Now it's got me thinking, though. Does Jim Jordan even have anything to do with this?
He might not even know he's being talked about right now.
That's what's interesting, right? Well, he got tagged by Ted. But, okay, I'm going to take this back to when I was in high school. And I was the Ted Cruz when I was in high school. I was not the Jim Jordan. I was the Ted Cruz. Okay?
Okay.
I would talk shit. And then when it came time to fight, somebody else would do the fighting for me. That makes me the Ted Cruz. Right?
Yes.
In these situations.
Right.
Okay?
And you're saying, better watch out. I know somebody that can kick your ass.
And every time it was agreed upon, before the shit started talking, with the person who was going to whip the person's ass, that they had my back. It would be like, dude, this guy fucking, I got your back on this. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And they would take care of that person. Now, did Ted Cruz sit in the congressional lunchroom or whatever? I don't think they're even there. Did Ted Cruz text Jim Jordan and say, hey, what if we challenged Ron Perlman to a wrestling match? And then Jim Jordan was like, I'll do it. I'll pin him. I'll put him down,
5 minutes. I can do it in 5 minutes.
I can pin him in 5 minutes. He did. He probably did say I could pin him in 5 minutes. But then the question becomes, why didn't Jim Jordan, who was mentioned in the first tweet,
pick his own fight,
be the one that responded to Ron Perlman? Because the key here is that Ron Perlman is the celebrity in this exchange. Okay? So like Ron Perlman, we don't need Ted Cruz's star power to get this over. We have Ron Perlman's star power to get this over.
Right.
So Ted Cruz didn't need to be involved in this situation, right? Which makes him seem so pathetic that he would go on the internet and go to a Hollywood actor guy and say, I'll bet you my friend Jim could kick your ass, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's a horrible person.
Yeah. Well, spineless, too. Just truly spineless guy.
Yeah.
All right, I think we did the show.
That's the show?
That is it. That's all we got.
You don't want to talk about Chicken Nugget Lady?
I can't play the audio.
Well, you don't think people know about Chicken Nugget Lady?
The cop Chicken Nugget Lady?
Yeah.
The cop that was crying in the McDonald's parking lot?
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about it. Yeah, I wanted to play the audio, but
okay.
So this came out earlier today. I just heard about it when I got here today, and it's pretty viral. So if you haven't heard, go find it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it.
Everybody's seen it, especially because this isn't coming out till tomorrow. But this was posted by somebody named Ann, TKAG 2020 Ann. What's TKAG? Trump Keep America Great 2020 Ann. And this is just, oh my God, I got to read you her bio. Tennessee Proud American, Code of Vets, Trump 2020, God Bless Our Troops, pro-life, constitutional conservative independent, no porn.
Oh my God.
The no porn part. So you will not see any porn on here. So she tweets, Stacy, who has been a cop for 15 years, went to McDonald's. She paid for it in advance, and this is how she gets treated for being a cop. Come on, America. We're better than this. Now, Stacy is, I can't even tell if she's a cop necessarily.
Some people are saying she isn't, and then other people rebut and say with proof that she is.
Could be a small town cop. Not with the PD in Richmond.
Right. The Richmond police said they didn't know who she was, but
she could be like
yes,
a suburb. Like my neighborhood has their own police.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But she is wearing like a collared shirt, but she also has the cop walkie-talkie guy on her.
Yes, the little chest thing that they talking to. The
yeah. What's they using those for?
So, first of all, I love it when she introduces herself and she says, so I'm pulling up to the McDonald's and I've already paid for the app on the app because I don't want anybody to pay for me like they do.
That's very cop. Cops get their shit paid for them all the time.
She's trying to be humble.
And you know what? They don't want to get their shit paid for them, you know?
No, they can't stand it. They just want to be one of the rest of us, right?
She was trying to be humble there. I like the move.
I'm not Jesus. I do Jesus type work, but I'm not Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. So.
And then the story goes, she shows up and they're like, who are you? We don't know you, who you are. She shows them the order. They're like, you need to go to the little wait spot. Those little three
number
reserve,
3.
Yeah,
I call it number 3 when they send you to number 3.
Yeah,
because you pull up to the first window, and you pay, and then they say come up to the second window, and then sometimes they'll be like, you got to go to number 3.
Yeah,
you know, you got to go sit by that 3, and it happens, especially if there's a hash brown / French fry involved, or extra thing, right? An egg McMuffin, especially. Not an egg McMuffin necessarily. They usually have.
If it's in the afternoon.
Done. Well, this is morning. She's coming home from a night shift. She's been working all night. She explains, and she's getting an egg McMuffin, a hash brown, and a coffee.
Right.
And so what happens is she's sitting in her car and she's waiting, and she's crying for some reason.
She doesn't cry yet.
Yeah.
She says basically what happens is she's waiting and waiting. It's taking forever. And they come to her car and they just bring the coffee.
Which is also a move, though.
And then that's when she starts tearing up and she goes, I just don't know if I can trust the food if they saw my uniform now because they're taking extra time to poison it. Like she just now has assumed that they brought the coffee out because they were clocking her, and they're like, oh, we're about to poison the shit out of this cop.
Yeah, and when they say, first of all, have we seen a cop? I mean, because earlier in the week, right, we had the bleach in the Shake Shack, which ended up being lactose intolerant.
Yeah, ended up being a poor eating habits.
Yeah.
Lack of self-control on the officer's behalf.
Guy had to go do a doo-doo. I mean, I get that way too, though, man. There's times where, like, you know what? I'm going to feel bad about this, but I'm going to get a milkshake tonight. You know what I mean?
That's when people are like, oh, this MSG is so bad. And it's like, you ate a 6-piece crab rangoon, a bucket of fried rice, and then you wash it all down with, like, a sugary drink.
Yeah.
With a pop.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also, like, you're really at a McDonald's in the morning, which can be crazy. I worked at a McDonald's and I did breakfast twice the whole time I worked there. And it was fucking crazy. It was crazier than a lot of the dinner rushes. I think the morning is so fucking
People
busy.
rely on that.
Yeah.
People will put time into their dinner, but they wake up 18 minutes before they have to clock in, hungry as fuck.
Yeah.
And they come to the drive-thru and expect you to have that shit ready in 4 minutes.
Right. And, like, sometimes that's just not possible to do for the workers there.
Yeah.
And you're not guaranteed that, ever, when you go through a drive-thru. You're never guaranteed that.
This is the experience that we all have.
Yes.
This is why we want there to be better training. This is why we want there to be higher pay so that people can stay and do the job. Because On more than one occasion, I've just driven away from a McDonald's because I do not want to fucking deal with it anymore.
Right.
I just write it off. Whatever it is, whatever the money was, I'm done with the situation. I take my car and I point it in the direction of another McDonald's, or I go to a Burger King. But yes, the service at McDonald's is fucking horrible.
Nobody's getting paid to care.
Yes. The company is just going to slot more people in. This is no surprise. The other thing that's so funny about these cops, and we've talked about it before, is they consider themselves like they're under attack. Everybody's getting after them. Here's what's happening. They're spitting on your hamburgers, but you have saliva when you eat, so you don't even notice it. Like, if I saw a cop's hamburger, I would spit on it or put a booger on it. You're already eating people's bodily fluids, cops, and you have no idea. No one is going out of their way to go scoop up dirt from the outside and put it on your burger. No one's bringing poison to work for when a cop comes through. They see that you come through, they put their finger down the crack of their ass, and they wipe it on your bun, and they send it down the line. And you eat it, and you never know.
Yeah. I mean, and I didn't spit in any shit, but like, if the cop, look, we know what the cops' function are and who they go after.
Yeah.
You know, and we know that, like, you know, that right now in particular, we're talking about how they go after black men and women, but they also, poor people hate them too.
Yeah.
Like, of all sorts.
Yeah.
You know, and they spend most of their time cracking down on poor people.
I mean, the people that are working at those jobs don't have the kind of car to get them safe from police harassment, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so, of course they're getting their food spit in. Fuck. Dude,
Constantly.
We hate you. We've been fucking saying we hate the police for fucking decades now. There's a fucking song called Fuck the Police that people love.
Old.
Is a hit. It's just people love the fucking song, and they always have, you know? And, like, I grew up not liking the police.
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it's a standard sentiment. And they come up with all this stuff, and it is really bullshit. The problem is that our family members are like, did you hear the police are fast food workers all over America are attacking police? And they're fucking not. Like, they get to come out and make the claim that someone at Shake Shack poisoned those cops. And a lot of people believe that. A lot of people that believe cops had glass in their pizza. Right?
Yeah.
None of this is happening.
None of it.
None of it's
Every
happening.
time. We fucking had all those stories, right? About, I mean, we've done this story 100 times. The cop that ate the cheeseburger.
Yes.
He took up this guy goes to fucking McDonald's. He takes a bite out of his fucking cheeseburger and then wraps it back up and then takes a picture and says, they served me a cheeseburger that had a bite out of it.
Right. Like, who's going to get away with that?
And then when he got caught, because they have cameras on these fucking employees all day.
Yeah.
That's the other fucking thing. Every employee knows that they're on camera all the fucking time. There's nowhere to do this shit.
You go into the back office where Denny's at with his computer, and you just see closed circuit television of your entire workplace.
Right, yeah. Denny does sit. He sits in a fucking chair at a desk that is like half of the room, and the other half is closed circuit television.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah, they can look and see what happened. That's what happened with Shake Shack, too. They did the fucking thing, and they were just like, no, there's nothing in your fucking milkshake, my dude. Nothing. And, like, the cop that said they put dirt on his Whopper. That was another cop.
Right.
He ate all but the last bite of a Whopper.
On the last bite, he was like, there's dirt on this.
How would you be able to fucking tell there was dirt on a Whopper patty? I would love to hear how you look at a Whopper patty and you see dirt.
I mean,
they look like dirt. It looks like a pile of dirt on a bun.
And I mean, all it is like, once it's a low quality hamburger sent through a flame broil microwave thing, there's probably a nasty end on it.
Yeah.
Like, you just power through that piece.
But he said he finished eating it, and then he was like, oh no, there's dirt on it, and then went on Facebook and did the post, and then they went and Burger King went and they looked at the closed circuit TV and to the specific cheeseburger that was being made, the specific Whopper that was being made, and said, no,
we serve dirt burgers at Burger King.
Yeah, we followed all the rules. I mean, I don't know how, I watched them do it. And that cop never apologized, which I like that move. But, I don't like anything about the police, but I like never apologize.
Right.
And I'm trying to think, are there any more, the cops at Starbucks who had pig written on their Starbucks cups.
Yep.
And then it came to find out that they wrote it on there as a joke. So, like, this idea that these guys are under attack all the time and getting their food fucked with, and that they're not these protected class of people is fucking crazy. Because every story about it turns out to be a lie. As soon as the Sergeants Benevolence Association in New York posted the Shake Shack comment, I fucking knew it was a lie.
Yeah.
There's such a fucking history of this that here's the fucking thing I can't believe they're still trying to pull it off.
Well, it also comes back to, like we used to talk about with fentanyl, how they always thought that there was some sort of criminal that was like weaponizing airborne fentanyl on them.
Yeah.
And that, like, they really don't know what a panic attack is. Mm-hmm. Where, like, you're drinking a milkshake and you get a whiff of some cleaner, whatever it is, there's a lemon breeze or something, and then you're like, oh, there's bleach in this. So I think there's bleach in this. And then your stomach starts rumbling and you've worked yourself up to the point where you believe you're being fucking poisoned and this is your last moment on Earth right now.
Yeah. And, I mean, even if it's not, I tend to even lean more on the side that it's lies. Most of the time. 99% of the time, it's not even a panic attack. It's a lie. Now, the reason I say panic attack is because a lot of them go to the hospital or shoot themselves up with Narcan.
Right.
But, like, the ones that don't go to the hospital, I think, are all lies. When they say they didn't, the dirt burger guy, the like, all that kind of shit, the spit, whatever it is that they say that's on their burger.
They don't say spit. They eat the spit and don't know it.
That's true.
They're eating a lot of spit. They come up with fake stuff. They don't realize they probably eat a dozen ham boogers a week.
Yeah, I mean, spit's not even that bad. I mean, it is now in the COVID times, but pre-COVID, it was like spit was like whatever.
Just take a slimy booger and put it right on there and melt the cheese on top, and people will just eat it right up. Police will just eat it right up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't mind eating a booger. It's like whatever. Well, again, in COVID times, I don't want to, but like, quit being bait. Quit the job. If I had a fucking job where fast food workers where I thought every fast food worker hated me and wanted to poison me, I would quit that job.
Also, I mean, this isn't original. Somebody else pointed it out, but like, you ever heard of I think it was Jesse. It was Jesse Farrar. But have they ever heard of like packing a fucking sandwich from home?
Yeah. Well, they get free shit though a lot.
That's true.
Dude.
That's why they want to do it.
That's the thing. They go to these restaurants and they order the food, and it's probably a 50-50 gamble shot whether they're gonna have to pay for it, so they never have to pack their lunch.
Makes sense.
I watch cops all the time at like if I go to the Get Go by my house. Just walk in, grab a coffee, fucking walk out.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, I'm just gonna roll in here and grab a coffee and walk out. And if I did that, they probably wouldn't say anything to me either.
That's true.
If if a homeless person did that, the cops would put them in a chokehold.
Yep.
But like they get so much special treatment. I mean, I think if I was a cop and I wouldn't pack lunch ever. I would find it to be pointless to pack a lunch. I would go to Applebee's during the lunch rush, and I would get my table right there at the Applebee's. They'll clear a table for me and let me go ahead of the line because what I do is very important. And then I would just bank on somebody else in the place being like, "Hey, we're picking up these Heroes tabs."
Yeah,
you know,
it's a smart move.
I know. I know. Makes you, if cops didn't suck, like they're the only valor I don't want to steal. You know, I don't want to steal cop valor. It's worthless now. Cop valor's down
plummeting.
through the floor.
Plummeting.
It's just through the floor. It's worth nothing. You know, sad, really. Well, not sad. It's great. So, yeah, cop valor stock is down. National Guard valor stock is down.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting troop valor might go down. We might be in the lowest valor market we've seen.
Yeah, it's rock bottom
time.
right now.
At this point now, the valor goes to nurses, so we got to get scrubs.
Scrubs.
Let's buy some scrubs, dude.
Walking around in scrubs.
Just walk around. Yeah.
Garfield scrubs.
Yeah, any kind. You know, you just pop a pair of scrubs on, put your mask on, walk into the Dunkin' Donuts, boom, you got yourself a coffee. Scrubs are cheap too. I didn't like getting a cop uniform, a military uniform.
Yeah.
It's scrubs. That's that valor is through the roof. The paramedic driver through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, the anything with a gun, I say it's a bear market.
Yeah, you're in trouble
on gun things. You know, and who knows what firemen, firefighters, not firemen. Obviously, there's fire theys and there's fire women too, but they're up there because of the videos from Italy where they show them beating the crap out of the police.
Yeah, that's a big win.
That puts the firefighters up high. Have you seen those videos?
I saw some.
No, fucking firefighters just be out there like, let's whip the police.
Stop this shit.
Like, all right,
we have armor.
I wish they did that here. I think they're buddies here.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
that's sad.
Yeah, they play softball and shit together. You know what Charlotte did? She called us a spider non-binary.
Non-binary?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, though.
I said spider guy, and I said, well, I guess it could be like Spider Woman, too. And she was like, or non-binary.
Non-binary. Hey, it's so good.
She tried. That was her first attempt.
Yeah, Gwen is getting mad. She wants to go to more protesting, and she's highly radical now. Getting her temp soon, folks.
Wow.
Temporary a license. I have to get her a social security card, which...
She doesn't have one?
Well, my wife... I don't know when this happened. She said something got stolen that had the social security card in it. Maybe it was out of the car or something. I don't know, but yeah, we got to get a social security card, which could prove difficult in these COVID times. So... I don't know.
Yeah, you have a birth certificate?
Yeah.
I hate getting those things.
I do too.
They always are like three. There's like you need 2 out of 3.
That's the thing about temps. You need 2 out of 3, and one of them's a passport.
Right.
It's like
not gonna happen.
Hillbilly family. We don't have a passport.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know, man. I want to get her temps, but she's been driving. I mean, I've been allowing her to drive. Took her out for a little bit to drive around a neighborhood, and I you know how I'm a really cool dad, you know, like
sure,
you know, cool dude dad, right? I'm trying not to be nervous dad while the kid's driving, right?
Okay,
like that's the stereotype. That's the new stereotype I'm trying to break. You know, the cliche old thing where you're like,
you should be nervous though.
I am. I'm fucking terrified.
That's not like unjustified.
But I'm trying not to I'm trying not to show that I'm freaking out.
Okay.
You know, because it's scary. I just say like, you want to get, you know, because I mean like, if the person in the passenger seat is flipping out, that also doesn't help. I guess, you know, if they're saying like, oh man, watch that guy, you know. And it's just like, hey, you're getting like really close to these cars on the other side of the road. Hey, watch out. Hey, you might want to try some tighter turns there.
Yeah.
You know? Her turns are very... But she was doing... Here's the thing. She wasn't doing hand over hand. I taught her that, and now the turns have changed.
Okay.
They're working. She was
just trying to spin her
trying
whole...
to do the whole thing, and it's like, that don't work.
Yeah.
Kid. All right, now that's the show for real.
All right. Take us out. I'll shut it off.
All right. Well, that was Street Fight Radio. We'll see you next Wednesday. Holy Boys will be out Friday. Get us in the usual play. I was just on Citations Needed, so give them a listen.